All right, here we go. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about the partial product strategy. This is a strategy that we can use to solve double-digit times double-digit multiplication problems, and even bigger than that, actually. It's just one strategy to use. You don't have to use this strategy. However, if you want to get started with this, you could definitely do that, and in the future we'll use the standard algorithm, but this is a good way to get started with double-digit times double-digit. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with a problem 34 times, let's go 82. Okay. All right, so 34 times 82. So the very first thing we're going to do in this situation, in this problem with the partial product strategy, we are going to make a square. Okay? And the square that we're going to make should look something like this. Make sure that it's close to a square as possible. Don't make it too small. Definitely don't make it too big. You want to make sure that you have enough room inside. Okay? All right, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this in half just like this, both sides. Okay, so down and across. And you'll see in a second why we'll do that. So the number is 34. The first number that we're looking at is 34. Okay, 34. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to break that into the tens and the ones. Okay, so if I look at 3, we know that's not really just a 3, but really that's 30. Okay, we're going to put a plus sign in the middle, and then in the ones place we have a 4. So I'm going to put my 4 here. Okay, so 30 plus 4 equals 34. Okay. All right, from there, what we're going to do is we're going to take the 82, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to break it up into tens and then groups of ones as well. So we look at this 8. We know that's not really an 8, but really it's 8 groups of 10, which equals 80. So we're going to put the 80 right here. Okay. We're going to put a plus sign, and then we have a 2. We're going to put 2 here. So 80 plus 2, 82. Okay. Now we're actually ready to start with the multiplication. And this is where sometimes it does get a little bit tricky, but after we work with it for a little while, then it seems to be a little bit easier. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we're going to start with this box right here. Okay, we'll start with this box. So imagine that this 30 is dropping down into this box, and this 80 is going across into the box. So we're going to multiply 80 times 30. 80 times 30, well, I know that 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, and there's 2 zeros on the end, one here and one here, so I'm going to put my 0 and my 0. So that's 2,400. Okay, it doesn't actually matter which box I go to next, but we'll go over to this one right here. So this is the box we're going to work with next. In this box, again, kind of imagine that the 4 is going to drop down in there, and the 80 is coming all the way across, and where they meet up, we're doing 80 times 4. Well, I know that 8 times 4 is 32. There was 1 0 at the end of that, so we're going to put a 0 there, so 320. All right, we're going to go to the next square. We'll head down here. Imagine that the 30 is dropping down, the 2 is coming across, so 30 times 2. Again, I know that 3 times 2 is 6. There was 1 0 on the end of that, so we're going to put a 0 there. And then the last box over here, we're going to do 4 times 2. Okay, so that becomes 8. All right, so now we're about halfway done, actually probably a little more than halfway done. Now we're going to jump into, we need to add all of these together. Okay, so we're going to go 2,400. I would suggest always doing the biggest numbers up on top. We're going to put 320 under that. We're going to do 60 under that, and we're going to put 8 under that. Okay, so I just added up all of these numbers together. And like I said, make sure you put the biggest ones on top. And also make sure that you're lining them up. You definitely want to make sure you're lining them up because it's not really going to work out if we don't line them up. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 is 8. 6 plus 2 is 8. 4 plus 3 is 7. And I bring down my 2, so I have 2,788 is my final answer. So we could say that 34 times 82 equals 2,788. Okay, and that's my final answer. Like I said, the partial product strategy, this is just one strategy you can use. And initially, this is probably the easier way to understand why multiplication works the way it does, especially with double digit times double digit. However, in the future, we'll get to other strategies as well. So you don't have to use this strategy. However, if you would like to use it for now, until you kind of get used to double digit times double digit, then you're more than able to do that.